Hello and welcome to the program Talk Sport on Global Television. I am Samuel Odi. Many thanks for joining on today's edition of the program. Yes, not so much exciting news, but Zimbabwe and Nigerians Cricket World Cup hopes. That's talking about cricket and the yellow and the greens female senior team. The female yellow greens suffered a 10-wicket defeat in the hands of Test Nation Zimbabwe on Wednesday, ultimately ending their hopes of advancing to the next round of the 2026 ICC Women's T20 World Cup African Qualifying Division 1 in Namibia. Batting first, Nigeria posted a total of 90 runs all out in 19.5 overs before they were chased down in the second innings. Despite a positive start, the Zimbabwean bowling attack led the brilliant Josephine Nkoma proved too difficult to handle. Wicket-keeper Sarah Etim, top scorer for Nigeria with a well-played 25 off 22 balls, while Omoke Osaiyade 16 of 10, and also skipper Peculiar Agboya 12 of 16 tried to keep the scoreboard moving. However, consistent weekends at crucial moments restricted Nigerians from building partnership, leaving them short of a competitive total, and then that was the trajectory of how the yellow and greens got kicked out of the qualifying stages for the African Division 1 World Cup qualifiers that is currently going on in Namibia, and they are meant to go represent Nigeria in England. But this is another sporting activity that is just being developed gradually here in Nigeria, and so far these ladies have been doing well, but we'll see what the future holds for them as they get knocked out of the next of this qualifying stages. We'll see what will happen. The team will need to regroup and get a whole lot of support that they need from the coaching staff and the federation to see how they would go and perform in the coming games that will be happening in Ghana. That's talking about the All-African Games. Conversations are still on about the states or the country that would be hosting the next edition that will be coming next year. So when all of that is done, we'll bring you all of those informations, and also the female yellow and green to find their way back to Nigeria and also prepare ahead of other competitions that will be coming up. Congratulations to them on also. No, they didn't have so well. Their outing wasn't so good because they only won their first matchup, that was on Sunday, and then they suffered 2 consecutive defeats. So moving on, Okon eyes historic final in the World Championship. In his World Championship debut, Nigerian sprint sensation Israel Okon has set his sights on making history at the 2025 World Athletic Championship in Tokyo, stating that his goal is to reach the 100 meters final in his debut outing on the global stage. Okon set to make his senior debut for Nigeria on the global stage in Tokyo. This marks a career milestone as he long dreamed of. Represented Nigeria for the first time at the senior level in the 100 meters at the World Championship is a huge milestone for me, he says. It's something I have dreamed of for a long time, and now that is happening, I'm very proud and grateful, Okon added. He also added that wearing the national colors carrying deep meaning for him, the national champion who stormed to his first 100 meters title at the 2025 Nigerian Athletic Championship in Lagos with a time of 10.04 seconds, will line up against some of the world's fastest men in Tokyo. Despite the fierce competition, he is targeting a spot in the final. This shows how ambitious and how hungry Israel Okon is to make Nigeria proud and also to have his name in the books of history. He's going to be lining up against top world athletes from Canada, USA, Turkey, and every other part of the world that will be lining up in Japan, Tokyo, and also we'll see how this matchup will look like. This will be kickstarting shortly in the coming days, and we'll definitely bring you all of the updates. And then Toby Amoson is on favor Bruno, the individuals leading the Nigerian delegates, that's captain and assistant captain. So we'll also see the likes of Nathaniel Ezekiel and co people who will be representing Nigeria in different outings and different categories of events. So we'll see how all of those will pan out, and I'll be cheering for Nigerians from here and hope to see them make us proud. So moving on, let's talk Nigerian Basketball Premier League, as Rivers Hoopers edged over Falcons to maintain unbeaten start. Defending champions of the Nigerian Basketball Premier League, Rivers Hoopers continued their unbeaten start to the 2025 season following a slim 88-86 victory over Kwara Falcons in their Group B encounter in Port Harcourt. This happened yesterday. Leading the starting five for the Hoopers were Samuel Sani, John Ikoda, Victor Sunday, Favor Kome, and Vice Captain Mwigwe Buchi. Both teams who are competing alongside Delta Force and Olungele Warriors in the same group in the Athletic Conference sought to dominance, proceeding in a bid to outdo one another. However, it was the Kingsmen who claimed the first quarter 18-17 following some good skill by Victor Sunday. In the second quarter, the reigning champions managed to keep the visitors at length as the scoreline at halftime reads 39-35 in favor of Hoopers. Super skills from Buchi Vincent and also Koko Sani Senior Sani also propelled the Hoopers to lead 62-53 by the end of the third quarter. However, the concluding fourth quarter saw the Falcons mount huge comeback, and they eventually tied the game at 84-84 with less than a minute to go. Despite the Falcons' beating effort, it was the Hoopers who prevailed at the end of the game thanks to their squad quality as they look to advance from group stage into the next phase of the league. So, I told you, each quarter matters. I've always said that. Each quarter matters in basketball. Now, these games were just what the Rivers Hoopers won the first quarter, won the second quarter, and the third quarter. So now you have another 12 minutes, to be able to make up for all of those errors. Did the Kwara Falcons did? Yes, they did. They managed to come back and close the gap. The game actually ended 88-86. So those 3 points, 2 drives gave them those additional 4 points that they needed, and then the Kwara Falcons tried hitting 2 threes, but it did not happen back to back. But one of the 2, dropped, and then that was even counted as a 2 points because the player's foot was on the line when he took that shot. So that's how they were able to settle. So in every game, free throws matters, and also, like I always mention, when it comes to basketball, a good offense, a good defense leads to a good offense, and then a good offense also leads to a good defense. So when all of these things work, hand in hand, and players need to really move their feet when it comes to basketball. And also, congratulations to them. We'll see how this trajectory will continue for the Rivers Hoopers if they will remain unbeaten and also qualify again for BAL. So moving on, let's talk 2026 World Cup qualifiers as NFF announces ticket price for Super Eagles versus Rwanda matchup. The Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, has announced ticket price for the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying match Day 7 encounter between the Super Eagles and the Rwandans. Fans willing to occupy the popular side stand will pay the sum of 1,000 naira each, and tickets for very important personnel, the VIP stand will be sold for 2,000 according to the NFF. The tickets will be made available across different designated centers in Uyo starting from tomorrow. A full crowd is expected at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo, on Saturday, where Nigeria will take on Rwandan counterparts. The game will kick off at 5 p.m. local time. Why didn't you start at 4 p.m.? Because that's the weather that Nigerians are very familiar with. But it's the rainy season, and we know the Niger Delta region, which Uyo is part of, with a massive rain situation. So we hope that the weather would be very perfect before, during, and after the game. The weather will be very perfect for the Super Eagles to be able to make Nigeria proud and get that crucial 3 points that is needed. Now people will be investing their money, traveling from different parts of Nigeria to be in Uyo and to watch that game. So please, Eric and the squad, please, and please, you all need to win this match so we can have, you know, another glimpse of hope of qualifying to the World Cup. So let's talk quickly around Flying Eagles, as Flying Eagles coach sets for the 20 World Cup target ahead of the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup, which will be played in Chile from September 17th to October the 19th. Flying Eagles head coach Aliyu Zubairu says the team has the ambition of surpassing Nigerians' record at the tournament. Flying Eagles have been drawn in Group F of the tournament alongside Colombia, Norway and Saudi Arabia. Zubairu led the team to their third place finish at the 2025 Under-20 AFCON in Egypt, where they picked up the tickets to the World Cup qualifiers. To the World Cup game, they began a new phase of campaign ahead of the tournament in Abuja last month, and coach now has an ambition to rewrite Nigerians' history in the tournament. Flying Eagles have twice finished as runners-up in the tournament's history. The first time in 1989 when they were edged out by Portugal, and again in 2005 losing to Lionel Messi's inspired Argentine side. They were knocked out in the round of 16 by South Korea during the 2023 edition in Argentina. And Zubairu also spoke about the team's preparation, with a few foreign-based players still expected to join before the end of the campaign. So I mentioned earlier we have a couple of new guys, some in Chelsea, that's talking about Nigerians who are still eligible to play for the Under-20 and Under-21 squad, and also we have some also in Liverpool and some other academies. So I think Zubairu should look out for means to have these players come play for this Flying Eagles, as you know, this is going to be a very, very crucial matchup for them to, you know, advance further and make this possible for them to, you know, change this narrative of Nigeria just advancing twice in the final and not winning anyone. The last time was, and the one I can vividly remember watching, was John Obi Mikel and Lionel Messi. It was a very, very good matchup. Mikel Obi was very, very instrumental. The squad at the time, the likes of Tai Taiwo and the rest of them, they were very, very instrumental. They played very good and very beautiful football. You all know what I'm talking about, because I'm certain you watched the game. It was just almost like a World Cup final, because everywhere was shut down and people went out to watch the match. So let's hope that this current squad, these guys that will be represented, are also very hungry to, you know, put Nigeria on the map and also win this trophy. We hope for Coach Zubairu that he has new tactics, and also the issues and concerns around creating chances and not finishing at the point of goal. I hope that has been taken care of, because that was the reason why Nigeria came third at the just concluded AFCON. That's talking about the Under-20 AFCON in Egypt, because we created lots of chances, but finding the back of the net was a very, very big problem. So if that does not get completely handled and tackled, creating chance and scoring goals actually ends a team points, and scoring goals help you advance further in the competition. So all of those errors needs to be corrected, starting from the defensive end to the midfield and also to the attacking. So all of this, Zubairu needs to take care of all of them, so as the team will advance further in the competition. So moving on, still talking football this time around. FIFA approves Free State Stadium for Nigerian South African clash. This is very, very crucial coming at this time ahead of the crucial World Cup qualifying feature between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Bafana of South Africa next week. The Free State Stadium, located at the Bonfrontier, has been cleared to host the clash. The governing body, FIFA and CAF, has given the approval for this stadium to be used. There had been uncertainty over which venue would host Bafana World Cup qualifying match at home, after concerns had been raised about the unsatisfactory pitch condition at the Free State Stadium. However, a joint statement from FIFA and CAF eventually gave the arena the green light to stage the match, following further inspection by officials from both governing bodies. Considering the encounter, considering the encouraging process observed on the pitch, both organizations have agreed that matches will proceed as originally scheduled at the Free State Stadium, the joint statement from FIFA and CAF read. Following the development, Luton will host fellow South African neighbor at the same venue tomorrow, that's Friday the 5th of September, as they have no FIFA standard approved stadium in their country. So we'll see how all of this, will pan out and how South Africa would manage it. Still conversations around South Africa's 3 points being deducted based on the fact that they allegedly, played a player who is not supposed to be part of the squad. Now the South Africans are leading their group with 13 points and Nigeria is still down on that group with 7 points. So we will see what would happen. Will those points be deducted? A couple of weeks ago, the South African coach came out to say that there's a Nigerian team and the NFF that are pushing for this point deduction. Every team wants to qualify for the World Cup, and then people will do what they see is required to be done so as they can win and also advance further to the qualifying matches. So if points get deducted from them, they currently have 13, and then we are hearing that 3 points or 6 might be deported, might be minus from their points. So that would leave them at either 7 points. But we'll see, CAF and FIFA haven't taken a final decision because investigations are ongoing based on the allegations that were made around the fact that the South Africans, played an underaged player who wasn't supposed to be part of the South African squad. So we'll see how all of that pans out, and if points will be deducted from them. Definitely you'll hear it first, and I'll bring you most other massive qualifying talks. Now moving on, Nigeria is focused on World Cup qualifiers. This is coming from the Super Eagles captain Williams Trust Ekong. Super Eagles captain Williams Trust Ekong has spoken highly of team's mentality and awareness as they continue preparation for 2 crucial 2026 World Cup qualifiers against South Africa and Rwanda and South Africa respectively, having won just one of their last 6 matches in the ill-filtered qualifying series. The Super Eagles will host Rwanda at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium on Saturday, needing a win to keep their dreams alive before traveling to South Africa to face Bafana 3 days later. Nigerians' hope of reaching the 2026 tournament in the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico also hangs on a potential points deduction for group leader South Africa, who failed an ineligible player against Luton in March. But before then, Trust Ekong and his teammate must put their destiny in their own hands. We'll be going on a very, very quick break, and then when we return back, this conversation continues. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining, this is still Talk Sports. Before we went on that quick break, we're having a conversation around the fact that William Trust Ekong, that's talking about the Super Eagles captain, is talking about the mentality of the team and also the spirit in camp. But before then, Trust Ekong mentioned that his team must put destiny in their own hands by winning their remaining matches in this series. Now, Nigeria has been put to bag couple of times. Our backs have been against the wall. That's talking about the Super Eagles right now. the backs have been put against the wall times and time again. They've been in these same familiar situations, but still they always find a way somehow to bounce back. So we will see how this will happen, because it's not always fair, it's not always good for us to always be in this situation. But now let's not have that conversation. Let's focus more on the task at hand, and based on what the captain is saying, it seems that the team is in good space and is in good spirit. Another Super Eagles player, again talking about Wilfred Ndidi, he said Super Eagles must fight hard to beat Rwanda. This is coming from Wilfred Ndidi. Wilfred Ndidi has said the Super Eagles must go all out for a win against the Rwandan team. The Super Eagles have endured a poor start to the 2026 FIFA Club World Cup qualifying campaign, struggling to beat Mariots like Luto and Zimbabwe, which is very, very disappointing. Eric Chile's side also sits in a precarious situation in Group C with 7 points from 6 games. The three-time African champions were held at a 1-1 draw at home by Zimbabwe in their last home feature. They will entertain Rwanda at the Gasparilla Pobio Stadium, International Stadium in Uyo on Saturday. And they declared that anything short of a win will drill their chance of securing a place at the 2026 World Cup finals. Wow, I like the fact that he's eyeing finals already, because it means that the mentality of the team, like Trust Ekon mentioned, is actually in the right place. But we will find out when we observe and watch these games if their mindset and they are looking very determined to win this match, because winning the first match is actually going to be a morale booster. That means there's a chance that they would win the second match. But if they don't win the first one, then South Africa is going to be a tougher nut to crack. Not saying that the Rwandan side are not equivalent, or they don't have the powers. This is sports, anything can happen. Nigeria couldn't beat Luto, they couldn't beat Rwanda, so they couldn't beat Zimbabwe. That means there is no team that you can look down on, when it comes to playing football, when it comes to any form of sport activity. I think this was what happened to the team earlier before now. That was why Nigeria are finding themselves in this kind of precarious situation where they are supposed to have, played these last 2 games. Is if we get a draw, fine, we are still qualifying. If we win, excellent, but now we need a must win. We'll see how all of this pan out, and definitely I have faith in the boys, I have faith in the coach, and I'm hoping that all Nigerians don't get disappointed, because the win of this match the win and Nigeria qualifying for World Cup is going to change the atmosphere of the entire country. So we'll hope to see that luck shines, and then the Super Eagles do their beat and then cross their T's and dot their I's properly, and make sure that they play very, very good football, both attacking and defending. As we play attacking football, we get to score, but another thing, we need to do very, very well in the defensive line. I know the likes of Kelvin Bassey is going to be on the defensive end, Trust Ekon, also the likes of Olaina also are going to be available in the defensive lineup. So we see the defensive line and then the midfield also being covered up. So I'm hoping that we create good chances and find the back of the net very early and just put the game to bed before the second half. And I think my prediction, I'll bring you my predictions tomorrow for what I'm expecting to see between Rwanda and the Super Eagles. So we'll see how all of that pans out, but tomorrow I'll definitely give you my prediction. So moving on, still talking World Cup, Gabon's World Cup hope boosted by Bouanga. That's talking about Denis's hat-trick. Denis Bouanga scored a first half hat-trick, and Gabon replaced Ivory Coast at Group F as Group F leaders in African 2026 World Cup qualifying by defeating Chiles 4-0 on Wednesday. The Los Angeles FC player became the leading scorer in the 9-group qualifying competition with 8 goals, 2 more than Egypt and Liverpool star Mo Salah. Yanis Mumba, who played for Dutch second tier club, completed the route with a goal after 89 minutes in the match played at the Mauritian village of St. Parry. Seychelles had to move the feature to another Indian Ocean island nation as they do not have a stadium of an international standard. Gabon have 18 points from 7 matches. Can you imagine? 18 points from 7 matches in the 10 round mini league, 2 points more than reigning African champions, the Ivory Coast, who host Burundi in Abidjan tomorrow, still as they get set to finally qualify and also seek solidify their own spot in the World Cup qualifying games. So moving away from football quickly, the Amari Euro basketball is ongoing, and now I have a game that was played between the United States of America and Canada. That match was very, very intense, very physical, and we saw lots of shooting and lots of high IQ in that game. Let me bring you